can do that. Conversation at 479-1160, 349-WCCS. You can also Facebook us, and at the WCCS Facebook page, we'll be happy to get your question on that way, too. Our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Spotted lanternfly. Evidently, there's some big conference going on to talk about it in our region. Have you heard about this?
I actually haven't heard about that yet.
Yeah. So people getting together to talk about it. So just an update. Is spotted lanternfly any more or less than expected so far, or haven't you heard anything?
I had a picture sent to me from Allegheny County yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the adults all over a tree trunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Scary.
So they're definitely in bigger numbers there than here,
and now
which is okay.
Now they're red winged and have the spots on them, right?
Yes, yeah. So there'll be a mix of the young stages that, as well as the adults at this point. Yeah. So they'll molt. They'll go through the nymphal stages and then pupate and then turn to adults. But yeah, we can have all three at this point.
Okay. All right. So be aware of them. Get pictures of them so you know what they look like. And then when you see them, crush them. Yeah,
the younger instars are black with white dots, shiny black with white dots. And then as they molt and grow in size, then they'll add the red in there. It's just about a fire engine red color. So they'll be red and black and white.
Yeah.
And then the adults are multicolored as well, but they'll be winged and much larger and very noticeable.
They're really kind of pretty.
Yeah, they are. All the life stages are.
But they're pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
So watch out for them. I just showed you pictures of my lawn at my house where we've had some work done, and because of that work, some boards laid on the grass for, I said a week. It's actually, as I began to think about it, it's almost 2 weeks that the boards laid on the grass. So the grass underneath those boards is all browned out, and it's looking pretty bad. So when that happens, when your grass is damaged in such a way, is it a good idea to overseed or to put something on it that's going to help them come back, or just let it come back on their own?
So you can do all three of those things if you'd like.
What are the odds of success?
Here we are in the middle of August, so we're starting to be in that time frame now where we can go in and repair things as well as reseed. If you have to seed a new yard or reseed or touch up some spots, we're in that period of time where you can do that. Days are a little bit shorter, a little bit cooler temperatures, and we've had fairly, although spotty rainfall, we still have more moisture here than some other parts of the state, which are really deficit at this point. But yeah, so depending on the damage, and from those boards laying there, that may come back in and creep back in. If it didn't completely outright kill what was underneath the boards, you could just let it alone and see what comes back. And then within a few weeks, you still could come in and reseed that if you need to, or just overseed it, and then just cover it lightly and let that come back up. If there was a lot of foot traffic and that, which there usually is with some construction going on, there may be some compaction there that you need to loosen up that soil before you, and reseed those bigger spots that may not come back.
Okay. All right. Let's get our caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, I was wondering what was happening with some of these locust trees that are turning brown.
Yes. So that's an annual occurrence. So the regular locust trees that we see out along the roads and in the woods, there's a lot of them, and they're pretty evident these days because they're all brown at this point. There is a locust leaf miner that attacks those every year. This year seems like they attacked a little sooner than normal, because usually once we move into August, then that starts to be pretty noticeable. But this started back in July. They were starting to brown out.
So it's a bug.
Yeah, it's an insect. Yeah, and it actually mines the leaf and then
I think our
causes
caller
them
hung
to turn brown. But that's what's going on with the regular locust trees.
I always wondered why locust trees do that so quickly.
But, and it usually happens late enough in the season that they've been able to garner enough energy and store enough energy that they survive, every year. They're back out, and then it happens to them again.
Yeah. Locust is sometimes a tough wood to split, I remember. Because
It's great.
From my log splitting days.
Right. And people, that used to be when making fence posts, that was the wood to go to.
It's a yellow wood.
Yeah.
And it's a very
heavy,
it's a
dense,
very wet wood.
Wet.
So it is, yeah.
But
it's not like splitting cherry.
Lasts a long time, and why they used it for fence posts.
You betcha. Yeah. You betcha. Yeah, so I wondered that about locust trees.
Yeah, so that's what's happening to them. Earlier in the season, we had some of the tar spot on maples and caused them to go. Had several calls lately about apple trees. The leaves are yellowing and dropping, and most likely that's caused by apple scab, which is a fungus that is just always here. Most apple trees are very susceptible to it. There's probably a dozen or so different apple varieties that are called scab-resistant varieties. So anybody that has those has less scab issues, with their apples that they're growing to eat. Crab apple trees that we use for ornamental purposes also have that. Get it, and we have a lot of just wild crabs and things that are in the woods and around.
Let me see if we can catch this one last caller. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Dr. Bob.
Good morning.
Hey, I've had a terrible year with my cucumbers and my zucchini, and they've gotten wilts. And my question is, do they make or are there seeds available for self-pollinating zucchini or cucumbers so that you can net them and you don't have to put up with the beetles and so forth?
Okay. So what he wants to do is grow his own cucumbers and zucchinis and then use the seeds from them to plant next year? No, that's not what you want.
No, I'm looking for to purchase seeds for zucchinis that are self-pollinating in the same way with cucumbers so that I can put a net over them and I don't have to contend with the various viruses and so forth that the insects bring.
All right, take a shot.
Yeah. So there are some varieties, not very many, that are self-pollinating. Some of those are ones that are typically grown in a greenhouse that are seedless, the seedless types. Really, in the garden, we need to net them, up until they flower.
Right.
And then pull that off. Usually, once we get that plant well established and get it to the flowering point, we'll at least get a crop off of it. We can still get some of the striped and spotted cucumber beetle come in and transmit viruses at that point. But if we can keep those plants healthy up until we get flowering, at least you'll get some fruit and minimize the chance of those viruses attacking. And that's probably about the best we can do, other than adding in, insecticide treatments, fungicide treatments along the way to keep the plants going. All those cucumbers and zucchinis are tough because there's a number of pest issues that we have to deal with them in our climate here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Our cucumbers did very, very well this year. So they did.
Well, that's very, very good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Robert.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that. It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.